financial markets perfectly rational calculating machines instantly processing every piece of information into an exact mathematical price? Or are they just messy, chaotic, and driven entirely by the emotional realities of the actual humans operating inside them? Honestly, it's the ultimate question in finance. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into this massive, decades-long intellectual battle over how financial markets actually work. We are looking at a real clash of titans here, the cold, mathematical precision of the efficient market hypothesis going head-to-head with the messy, psychological insights of behavioral finance. Let's get right into it. Part 1. Thesis: the rational market. Okay, so back in the 1960s, Eugene Fama basically revolutionized finance. He actually earned a Nobel Prize for this, with what became known as the efficient market hypothesis, or EMH. Now, the absolute core assumption here is that investors are perfectly rational. In an efficient market, the price of a security fully reflects all available information, period. Whether we're talking historical data, public news, or even insider knowledge, depending on how strictly you interpret the model, EMH says it is all baked into the current price. Because of this, Fama argued that finding a genuine arbitrage opportunity, consistently beating the market average without taking on more risk, well, it's practically impossible. Under EMH, beating the market is a game of chance, not skill. To see what they mean, just consider what happens to a stock's price around a stock split. Look at this data showing cumulative average residuals. You can see it rises pretty steadily in the 30 months prior, right? It's pricing in all the good times leading up to the event. But at month 0, the exact literal moment the split becomes public, that trend just goes perfectly flat. There's no further price reaction at all. The market instantaneously digested the news, adjusted the price, and just moved on. It's incredibly efficient. So the whole vibe of this traditional view is captured perfectly by early theorists like Paul Samuelson. The idea is that if you have perfect competition and zero transaction costs, well, prices will always perfectly equal fundamental values. If there is some sort of mispricing, sophisticated traders will immediately swoop in, buy the undervalued stock, sell the overvalued one, and basically drive that price right back to its mathematically correct fundamental value. In this traditional view, the market is just a flawless, emotionless calculating machine. And that traditional finance model relies on this theoretical agent known as Homo economicus, which is basically a perfectly rational, utility-maximizing robot who flawlessly updates their beliefs using Bayes' law the second new information arrives. But as I'm sure you've noticed, there's a pretty glaring problem with this model. We are dealing with real humans, and we're emotional. We are heavily biased. We tend to follow the herd. We literally hate losing far more than we enjoy winning. And this stark reality, this messy human element, set the stage for a massive paradigm shift. Which brings us to part 2, antithesis, the irrational human. Enter the plot twist. As researchers started to realize that mathematics alone couldn't really explain all these weird market anomalies, a revolution fostered by brilliant thinkers like Richard Thaler and Daniel Kahneman gave birth to behavioral finance. And behavioral finance essentially throws out that perfect rationality. Instead, it looks at how you and I actually behave. Take loss aversion. Have you ever held on to a completely tanking stock just because clicking sell makes the loss feel real? Or what about overconfidence? Believing you've completely outsmarted Wall Street after just a couple of lucky trades? Throw in mental accounting, where we treat money totally differently depending on where it came from, and herding behavior. And suddenly, you start to understand exactly how these massive, irrational asset bubbles form. Richard Thaler and his colleagues pointed out a really crucial flaw in the traditional model. Human brains are hardwired for shortcuts. Take the representativeness heuristic. We'll see a short-term pattern in what is actually a random series of stock prices, and we immediately automatically assume it's a long-term trend. We overreact to news. If a company has a bad quarter, the market severely punishes the stock far beyond its actual fundamental decline. These predictable behavioral biases create the exact bubbles, crashes, and arbitrage opportunities that the efficient market hypothesis insists shouldn't even exist. And it's not just human psychology breaking the rules. It's modern technology, too. The EMH assumes that when an arbitrage opportunity pops up, it's instantaneously wiped out by the collective market, leaving zero consistent abnormal profits for anyone. But then look at high-frequency trading. HFT firms use ultra-fast tech to access news and execute trades literally fractions of a millisecond faster than slower traditional investors. Because access to this technology isn't equal, these high-frequency traders can consistently extract abnormal, risk-free profits at the expense of everyone else. That's a clear, tech-driven market inefficiency that standard models just really struggle to explain. All right, part 3, synthesis, the evolutionary market. So, here's where we're at. We have a rational market theory that works beautifully on a chalkboard and an irrational human reality that dictates actual day-to-day trading. So how do we resolve this massive academic tension? Well, the answer might lie in a brilliantly unifying framework proposed by MIT's Andrew Lo. He calls it the adaptive market hypothesis. Instead of treating financial markets like a strict physics equation where everything perfectly balances out, the adaptive market hypothesis treats the market like a biological ecosystem. It takes the principles of evolution, competition, adaptation, natural selection, and applies them directly to financial interactions. Seriously, think of the market precisely as a biological ecosystem. In nature, you have distinct species. In finance, our species are the different groups of market participants, so pension funds, retail investors, high-frequency traders, market makers. In biology, animals adapt to their surroundings. In finance, investors shift their trading strategies to survive changing economic environments. And what about natural selection? Well, in the wild, it's death. On Wall Street, it's capital depletion and bankruptcy. If your strategy stops working in a new environment, well, you go extinct. So the crucial takeaway here is that under the adaptive market hypothesis, our behavioral biases aren't just irrational mistakes, they are evolutionary heuristics. Fear and greed, those are actually survival mechanisms. And this gives us a few massive implications. First, the relationship between risk and reward isn't perfectly stable over time. It shifts around as the population of investors changes. Second, arbitrage opportunities absolutely do exist, but they disappear as soon as competing species adapt and exploit them. Third, and I think this is the most important one, the primary goal of an investor isn't actually profit maximization, it is pure survival. And the only way to survive long-term is through constant innovation. When you zoom out and look at the long-term history of the market, the adaptive market hypothesis reveals that efficiency is not a constant state. It's highly context-dependent. It's a dynamic, ever-changing process. Think about it. If a ton of investors are aggressively competing for scarce resources, like say in the market for 10-year US Treasury notes, that market will be highly efficient. But if only a few players are competing for abundant resources, inefficiencies and behavioral bubbles will absolutely emerge. The market breathes, it adapts, and it evolves. Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder. If the financial market really is a living, breathing ecosystem where the brutal rules of natural selection apply, and where today's perfect strategy might literally be tomorrow's path to bankruptcy, well, in this constantly evolving financial ecosystem, are you adapting to survive, or are you about to go extinct?